Hold on, I got to go here. Settings, display, auto lock, never here. Facebook. Okay, sweet. All right. You ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Hold on. All right, here we go. Paradox of Sports, episode 43. We've made it a year. Crazy to think a year ago we started this. Would you not agree, Jack?
It feels really weird.
Yeah, it feels really weird that the first time we sat down, this was a Wrestlemania preview that we did a year ago for something to do a little bit till the quarantine got done, and we're still doing it because the quarantine's not done.
Oh yeah.
So, big guest tonight, big sponsor tonight, Gigi's Barbecue. We're going to talk more about them later. 1600 West US Highway 50 in Pueblo. You need to check them out. If you are looking for the best barbecue in Pueblo, you need to check out Gigi's. More about them later. First, let's talk about Jack's last couple weeks. We were so busy last week, we didn't do an episode. So I think last time we spoke, have we talked about you winning the NCAA tournament bracket thing yet or no?
I think we've talked about it. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you won the bracket pick, right?
Yes.
Did you think Gonzaga was going to get just the all crap kicked out of them? Did you expect that?
I did not expect that. I just picked Baylor to beat Michigan in the national championship.
Baylor was tough, man. That was a big boy team right there.
Yep.
So you've started with baseball. You're going hard on baseball now. So what's been the baseball regiment the last couple of weeks?
Practice Monday, practice Friday, games on the weekend.
How have the games gone so far? You've pitched some, right?
Yes.
How's that went on the mound?
It's actually been pretty good. We have a pretty good pitching team.
Where are you at age-wise with everything now? Like you're 11. So are you at the older end of the spectrum for where you're at?
No, the younger end.
Okay, so you're one of the young kids on the team.
Or no, I'm the oldest kid on the team. I'm probably the third oldest kid on the team. But I'm 11 and we have 12 you. I thought that's what you meant.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys are 12U, but you're one of the older kids on the team. Now, as you have pitched, we've talked about this. I think we talked about it some last year, kind of heading into the summer. When you are pitching now, are you to the point where you're kind of working yourself through the game on setting them up with fastball, off speed, and kind of working it? Or are you just trying to throw strikes? Like where are you at in actually pitching a game?
Yeah, I only throw 2 pitches, a fastball and a slider.
Gotcha. Which that's all you need to do. You're just changing speeds depending on where you are in the count.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So how has the pitching gone so far?
It's actually been pretty good. I haven't pitched in the regular season, but I did pitch in a scrimmage where I had a few strikeouts.
Gotcha. So where are you playing now? Regular season started. Where is your position?
The positions that I have played in, all of the positions that I've played in the first 2 games. Yeah, in the first 2 games of the season were right field, left field, and second base.
Gotcha. Of those 3, which one do you like? Like, what's your favorite place of those 3?
Probably second base.
Gotcha. Okay. How's the hitting been? So now when you're at the plate, how have things been with the stick?
I'm not as good as a hitter as a fielder or pitcher.
Gotcha. And it's early still. You'll have to get in a rhythm. Normally you'll see, guys start off like Blackman did last year and you hit 700 through the first 10 games, or you'll see guys take a week or two to get in the rhythm and get heated up. So you were at Vaughn's. What was Vaughn doing tonight? Soccer or baseball?
Baseball.
Gotcha. So what is it like? What is your participation level, or what's the older brother doing when you're at one of Vaughn's baseball games?
Just hanging out with my friends. His brothers are also on the thing.
So it's just buddies. It's kind of a buddy situation when you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, second question, kind of getting into tonight's the heart of the show. I assume you watched Wrestlemania.
I did.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk from here on out. After I talk a little bit more about Gigi's barbecue, we're going to talk wrestling here the rest of the evening. Nice interview coming up. Jack's going to lead us into that. But before he does, we're going to talk about Gigi's barbecue. Authentic Southern style barbecue is their specialty. They've been doing this since 2007. Jack, when were you born?
2009.
So before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, the folks at Gigi's, they had their pits going. They had their pits rolling. They were working on their craft. They pride themselves in providing their customers with Southern favorites: beef brisket, pulled pork, my favorite, Memphis dry rub baby back ribs. I don't think Memphis dry rub gets enough love. I'm a big dry rub guy with my barbecue. They use hickory, pecan, and oak. The folks that know what they're doing, they throw a little pecan in there. That's a little bit of sweet. You wouldn't think you could add sweet with your wood, but you can. So if you're looking to enjoy an evening out with family and friends, you need to find Gigi's Barbecue. Check it out. They got fresh baked desserts. They got chocolate chip cookies, something they call the home wrecker, a double chocolate brownie cookie loaded with peanut butter chips and topped with chocolate ganache, and then a traditional carrot cake. That sounds like somewhere we need to go, right?
Yeah. They also roast marshmallows with the blowtorch. I've been back there once.
Nice. So this is something that we can give a heartfelt recommendation on because you have been there.
Yes.
Okay, so take it from us. If you're looking for barbecue, if you were anywhere in Southeast Colorado and you were looking for barbecue, get to Pueblo, try Gigi's Barbecue. Now let's get to our guest.
Some legit barbecue. And now our guests. Back with another week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast. Me and my dad are here with former WWE announcer, now with PFL. Please welcome Lilian Garcia.
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here with you.
All right. Talk about the start of your career singing and appearing in the movie Modern Love.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing something way back. I don't even think a lot of people know about Modern Love. But Modern Love was when I was at the University of South Carolina. I took a film course because I was studying filmmaking and producing and directing. And Robbie Benson, who had done the famous movie Ice Castles, came to the University of South Carolina to direct and to also put together this whole movie of his. And he was giving a course and you had to audition to get into his film class. I got into his film class. And as part of that, he used a few of us in his film. And so I was used as the singer in Modern Love. But a funny story is that I was told to learn the song Hava Nagila which is Jewish. And so I learned the song. And then they told me right before the shooting, they said, oh, we're going to have you do it like you don't know it, like pretend you don't know it. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess they'll make this make sense in the movie. Well, in the movie, they didn't make it make sense. It just looks like I don't know my words, and they don't explain that we were an American band hired or to do this, you know, a Jewish wedding, and that we didn't really know the Jewish culture. And so they didn't really explain that in the movie, but it's pretty funny when you do see me in there and I just don't know any of the words.
Before we hop into the world of wrestling, what major shows other than wrestling shows have you sung the national anthem for?
Other than I've sang for a lot of the Jets games. I've sang for 13 of the Jets games. I've sang for the Miami Dolphins, for the Green Bay Packers. I've sang at various baseball games, including the Chicago Cubs. I've sang for the Dodgers. I've done the tennis, the US Open. I sang for them. I sang for NASCAR. So it's been a great opportunity that I've been able to use this national anthem and actually do different sports and different events around the world, including, as you know, going to Iraq and Afghanistan and doing it there with all the troops surrounding me. That was definitely the ultimate.
How
Also,
many times have you performed the national anthem? Do you have a
So-
ballpark?
You know, you think about it and add up all the numbers. I started in February of 2000 and I did it at every single event. So it was about 2 times a week, sometimes 3, depending if we had a pay-per-view. And so that you rack that up into 15 years and then all the, you know, events outside of the WWE. It's a lot of national anthems, but it's always been very dear and near to my heart. And I just got to do it for the Clippers and Lakers game. So it's very special. As an Army brat, it definitely takes on a new meaning, especially after 9/11.
also, do you prefer singing in Spanish or English?
I love doing both, but I had so much fun doing my Spanish record. I feel like I have actually an easier time, believe it or not, writing lyrics in Spanish. And I'm thinking it's because it was my first language. I learned English not until I was 5 years old. So I think my brain is wired to be able to, even though I could speak English fluently, I can write better in Spanish. So that Quiero Vivir album, oh my God, I had so much fun doing it.
You made your WWE announcing debut in 1999 when you were making appearances here and there. Talk about your start.
Yes, so 1999, I did not know that I was going to get a call from the WWE to audition. And when I almost didn't even go to the audition because I was so focused on singing. And my agent was the one that said, look, you got to try this. You got to see where this leads you. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, so let's see what happens if I go into this crazy world of wrestling and let's just go to the audition. From the audition, I remember walking out of there feeling really good about the audition. And I said, you know what, God, if it's meant to be, make it obvious. If it's not meant to be, make it obvious. So when they called me and they said, well, we want to try you out for 2 to 3 weeks. You can quit at any time if you don't like it. For me, that was obvious and I had to give it a try. And well, that was August 23rd of 1999. I never looked back and I was there for a really long time to 2016. It was really great. And then now being able to take that experience that I had at WWE and turn it into in-cage announcing for combat sports and being the first female to do that in the PFL, that's really great.
And what's really cool, you know, besides your style and just the amazing job, you had to follow, you know, the only ring announcer that the WWF/WWE ever known in Howard Finkel.
I know.
Did anything go through your mind like, okay, I'm starting to, you know, take over the Fink's role?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
You know, as far as like, you know, taking over, okay, this has been Howard Finkel for so long and now I'm moving into this spot.
I was so shocked. So I didn't know. My very first day on the job on the 23rd, I was given an orientation all through the arena, backstage. And that was through Michael Cole. And I didn't know though. I went to the production meeting, and the production meeting was delayed like 2 or 3 hours. We were just sitting there. And it wasn't until 3:30 that afternoon that I found out that I was going to actually be replacing Howard Finkel and be announcing as the brand new ring announcer that night. Zero training. I still didn't know what I was doing. Tony Chimmel sat with me at around 4:30. From 4:30 to 5:30, I sat with him. I quickly got dressed. I went out at ringside at 7. I'm watching him do 4 matches. That was for Sunday Night Heat. That was my training, watching him do 4 matches as I'm rewriting my cue cards and then being told 20 minutes before going on air, oh yeah, by the way, you can't use cue cards. That almost made me run. And I will never forget that moment. I was hyperventilating. And at that time, I didn't think about it as, oh my God, I'm trying to replace the legend Howard Finkel. I thought, oh my God, I'm about to go in front of 14 million people that at the time were watching it, live worldwide, 186 countries. There's 20,000 people in the arena. I'm going to make a fool out of myself. That's what I was thinking. And it was Howard, thank God, that even in the afternoon when he heard that I was going to be doing this, and I looked at him and I said, I don't know what I'm doing. How is this possible? How can I do this position? And he could see my angst. He could see me like almost hyperventilating. And Howard's like, you're going to do this and I'm going to help you. And let me tell you, during the weeks, he ended up helping any question I had. He told me exactly the right way to say things. And I couldn't be more grateful for that man, because he could have been very, very bitter. And instead, what a class act that he was. So rest in peace, Howard, but thank you.
What is it like performing at major events like Wrestlemania and Dancing with the Stars?
Okay. So Wrestlemania, obviously it's amazing because you've got 80,000 to 100,000 or more people in there. It is the Mecca, and you feel the energy of the people. I mean, I love connecting. It's almost like when The Rock says it's electrifying. It is electrifying. And I love that feeling. Dancing with the Stars was something that was so spontaneous. I didn't even know that I was going to be actually singing that night until they found out that I sang the national anthem everywhere. They were like, oh, we want to definitely incorporate you within the show. I was there to support Stacy Keibler. So it turned into something where I got added as part of the show, which was really, really cool. But I didn't even have the time to think about getting nervous for that. Where in WrestleMania, you're just on such adrenaline that you're nervous, but it's a fun nervous. It really is like just an excitement that runs through you.
Talk about your podcasts, such as Making Their Way to the Ring and Luchando con Lilian Garcia.
Yeah, so that's 2016. When I left WWE, I was taking care of my dad, and he was very sick, and he looked at me and he said, look, I don't want you just to sit here and be my caretaker. How about do you have any ideas what you would do next? And I gave him this idea that I had in 2004. He loved the concept. And so I reached out to AfterBuzz TV, and they allowed me to have that platform. And I said, oh my God, it's kind of crazy. Not only did I want to launch Making Their Way to the Ring, the first original podcast, but also Luchando, because at that time there had never been a Spanish wrestling podcast. And so I was the first person to have a Spanish wrestling podcast. And I launched both of them at the same time. It was a lot. I mean, it was 2 different shows every single week. I did it for a while as far as the 2, but then Making Their Way to the Ring was just having such legs, and I realized that I was spread a little too thin doing both. So I put everything into Making Their Way to the Ring. And then when I went to podcast 1, we changed it to Chasing Glory so that it could encompass more athletes, more wellness coaches and entrepreneurs and entertainers, and just everyone's chase for glory. Great question.
What was your favorite storyline that you've participated in?
I had so many fun storylines. That's something that I loved, that back then they would incorporate the announcers into the storyline. They don't do it as much now. And I think it was something so fun as that all of a sudden I was involved, whether Kane was picking me up and tossing me, or Triple H was running after me when I introduced him as the former champion, or my whole storyline with Viscera. That wasn't even supposed to be a whole storyline. That was supposed to be one night, but the ratings were so high and people were loving that whole storyline that it just turned into what it turned into. And I loved working with Viscera, loved it. I loved working with all the superstars, and anytime that I could help them in the storyline, like being a part of it so that it expanded their storylines, that was always fun for me to be involved.
You have been on many other podcasts, but what is one fact that you have not shared with any other podcasts?
One fact I've never shared. That's going to be tough because I'm not really sure. I'm an open book. I try to talk about a lot of things, whether it was, I've suffered depression before in my life, or I'm not able to have children. I talk about the difficult, times in my life, whether it is an eating disorder that I went through, or about some really fun things that I've had happen in my life. Something that comes to mind. Something that is on the top of my bucket list that I definitely want to do is hang gliding. I've always wanted to go hang gliding. I'm a little bit of a adrenaline junkie. I have done skydiving. I've done scuba diving, shark diving. I love race car driving. I've done that. And I've done bungee jumping, but I have not done hang gliding. And so I definitely want to hang glide.
What are your thoughts on the wrestling world today?
I think it's an evolution. Everything keeps evolving. And I think that the fact that they were able to handle this pandemic the way that they've been able to handle it and not have an audience when the WWE, my gosh, we know how important the fans are. Seeing how they took it to the Performance Center, and then from the Performance Center, seeing what they've done with all the screens and evolving it, and just, hey, adversity come and let's just figure it out. I think it's been a beautiful thing. It's not easy performing without a crowd. So kudos to the superstars who are still out there with all that intensity and just performing in front of screens. I've been there personally. I've walked around the ring with all those TVs behind me. Trust me, the energy is not the same in the arena. So when you see that intensity that they're still fighting with, unbelievable. It really is something to applaud.
What do you do in your free time now?
I have done a lot more going to the beach and walking the beach and taking my dog and just enjoying nature and breathing in the waves and the air, and just giving myself permission to slow down, because I'm definitely a type A personality and I like to go. And I've learned now that being on that level will make you burn out if you're not careful and you find those moments to recharge.
So what are some of your favorite beaches?
I love so many of the beaches in California are so gorgeous. Laguna Beach comes to mind. It's beautiful. I've lived in Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, there's San Diego. Everything has something different. But then even Puerto Rico, where my parents grew up, I was able to visit Puerto Rico, and Luquillo Beach is unbelievable. It's so beautiful. It was my dad, like, he loved that beach. Hawaii has got some that literally brought me to tears, just how magical. And there's something about water. I resonate with water. I realize that more than ever. And that's why I love living in California and love living at the beach.
What was the greatest moment of your career?
I think the most important, or the greatest, was the most important moment. And for me, it was when I was asked to sing the national anthem after 9/11. I think that moment of being the vehicle to try to bring healing to the country by singing the national anthem when we needed it so badly. And I know you don't remember that, but let me just tell you, it was a moment that America needed. It was hurting so bad. We were just in complete shock as to what had happened. We never thought that something like that could happen. It was something out of a movie that was actually reality. And It's almost like you've been living through this pandemic. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it has been like, what? It is a movie that's playing out. So the fact that I could stand there in that ring with all the superstars lined up, and there was no instruments, it was just me singing our national anthem a cappella, and you could hear a pin drop, and the people in the stands, the roar afterwards, the chanting of USA, the coming together, the healing moment. I think that was the most important moment that I've had in my career.
And I've been fortunate enough to hear you perform the national anthem at a few live events, and you know, it's one of the best additions that I've heard. I've been to many a ball games, you know, Rockies, Broncos, been to the World Series, you name it. And it's just an amazing rendition. And every time I hear that song, you know, even when I was competing in sports in high school and getting ready to go on a wrestling mat or step on a football field, and that song would play, it just gives you, you know, just such a, you know, indescribable feeling of pride and just happiness and intensity and just all those single emotions going into it all at once just because of that song. And, you know, it's just been amazing to hear it, you know, especially performed by you. So
thank you. I appreciate it. As an Army brat, the song means a lot. My dad fought in Vietnam, and, you know, I grew up on the military base. I watched those soldiers train every single day, and just seeing the sacrifices that they make, for me, that's what it represents, right? It's just the sacrifice of our country and our free. You know, I've been fortunate enough to travel all around the world, and America really is an incredible place. And no wonder so many people try to, you know, come into this country, because we do have a lot of great opportunities. And I think our national anthem is just, for me, that's why it's so important.
Absolutely. Well, Lilian, we appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Paradox of Sports, and best of luck with the with all your ventures and podcasts, and you know, announcing there at Combat, and you know, look forward to seeing you more. I'm sure you'll have another run or two left in you in the world of professional wrestling, but it's definitely a sports and entertainment venue that, you know, you've made it better just because the contributions you made to it. So
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Seriously, the fans are everything. I mean, they could have turned their backs on me when I replaced the legend Howard Finkel, as we were, you know, talking about it, but instead they gave me an opportunity and they grew with me. And that's what I appreciate so much, is that even through my mistakes, able to look at more of my wins than my mistakes, and just know that I was learning on the job. And I just really appreciate that. Even now in MMA, the fans for the PFL and MMA world have been so gracious in accepting me and allowing me to make the transition between WWE into MMA. And it's just been so great. And I'm so excited. And I'm inviting everybody on April 23rd to come join me in the PFL, because it's so much fun to follow. It's a regular season, playoffs, and a championship where these fighters are fighting for $1 million in each division. So it's on ESPN Plus and ESPN2. So I want to invite everybody to join me on that ride.
All right. We want to thank Lilian for taking some time to chat. I have a soft spot in my heart. I'm a bit of a crier. I don't know if you're a crier. I can admit I'm a crier when it comes to live sporting events and the national anthem. She sung at everything. So are you to the point, do you get emotionally wrecked during a national anthem yet? Is that something that touches you emotionally?
No, I don't get emotionally wrecked.
Oh man, I do. I cry. I have no
I love my
problem.
country though.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. Now, if you don't cry during the national anthem, that doesn't mean you don't love your country. I think it's something, as you get older, you get a little softer. You have kids, you experience stuff in life. The Schroeder that does the Avs games, man, it's good. He does such a phenomenal job. The other thing that gets me and stuff like that is like at the Indy 500 when we were there and they played taps, the Memorial Day weekend stuff, they played taps. and do the 21 gun salute, dude, I'm in my sunglasses like this. I'm sitting next to Aunt Jen, and it's just waterworks, dude. Just cry. I admit it. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem admitting I cry. The national anthem it gets me. It touches me. So, Wrestlemania. They had folks there outdoors. They had a little bit of a rain delay. Everything on how it was presented, kind of what were your overall takeaways from everything as it went down
For WrestleMania?
for Wrestlemania?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. Some of the matches I didn't want the outcomes to be, such as Roman Reigns winning the triple threat match. That should not have happened.
Why do you think they keep pumping? Let's get away from Jack the fan and let's get into Jack the businessman, Jack the producer that gets into the heartbeat of the wrestling. Why do you think they're pumping Roman Reigns so hard? Like, what is the deal with keeping him winning and not letting him get beat? Where do you think they're going with that?
I don't know. It's probably just his changing character after he. So basically, it all started when in the WrestleMania of last year when he was scheduled to face Goldberg for the Universal title, but then he had issues with leukemia, so that spot was taken. And then SummerSlam, he turned to a bad guy, mentioning that should have been his title, and so it kind of went from there.
Can I ask something that's kind of a dick question to ask? Because
Yeah.
I just don't know. And did he really have leukemia, or was that something they made up as part of the storyline?
Yeah, he's had leukemia issues since I think like 2018.
So that man has really battled leukemia.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good, because I would have a big issue with professional wrestling if that was something that they wrote into their storyline to kind of play on, and that would make me mad. So
Yeah, he was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 22.
okay, so
He was diagnosed in 2007.
So it's a pretty cool feat that he has continued to perform at the level he has and fight that and still be. Is he? Am I wrong in saying is he one of the most recognizable wrestlers in the world right now?
Yeah, him and Drew McIntyre.
Gotcha. So he's at the top of his game for active wrestlers right now.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what else? Is there anything else that you really didn't like?
Nothing really.
Okay, so let's get into something that I saw that I wasn't sure what to think about, but that was the Logan Paul aspect of it. Do you like the cross promotion with guys like Logan Paul coming into the wrestling? Do you like where they're trying to cross promote and grab audiences like that, or is that something you'd rather see they didn't do?
I don't like Logan Paul in the first place.
Okay, ditto.
Yeah. But I think it was actually pretty good that they brought like a celebrity in.
Because he's
Kinda like how
huge
Bad Bunny-
celebrity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
now
of like
see,
how
I don't
Bad-
know. I don't know anything about who is Bad Bunny. Like, where does that guy come from?
He's a Latino rapper.
Okay, so again, no wrestling background, no nothing. He's a pop star. And then he
Yeah.
comes in. I know just from a little bit of the reaction I saw on Twitter, everyone seems to think he did a very good job. They were impressed with how much he bought in and looked like he worked towards making sure he put on a good show. So do you agree with that take?
I agree with that. He knows how to fight.
Gotcha. So that's something where now, do you think Bad Bunny stays in the storyline somehow?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And then bringing in Logan Paul, how they used him and sort of wrote him in. Did you like how that ended up going down?
I kind of like that because it's pretty much the same thing that all of the other like celebrities that get screwed up. Also, Logan Paul does have fighting experience. He is a boxer.
Yeah, and he actually fights this Saturday. So he's got his thing coming up, which is I think why he was probably at the WrestleMania. So what about the women? Was there anything from the women's side that caught you off guard, or was that pretty much what you expected to have happen?
Pretty much what I expected.
Now, okay, before we move away from the WrestleMania side of things, is there anything else from WrestleMania you want to cover?
No, I don't have anything on the mind right now.
Okay, so is it a 2-day show? It goes Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they do Saturday, Sunday, and then they turn around and go right into Monday Night Raw, correct?
Correct.
So are there any storylines that follow from WrestleMania into Raw? Do they all follow into Raw?
Raw is probably more prominent than SmackDown. Because it's
Okay.
been around for 28 years and a lot of stuff.
Are there wrestlers that are at WrestleMania that end up on Raw?
Yeah. Wait, hold up. I need to search up Raw after WrestleMania debuts because I didn't watch much of the Raw app.
I'm just curious because I would think that WrestleMania being the big
It
pinnacle,
drew the second best viewership of the year.
Raw did or WrestleMania?
Raw did.
Wow. Okay, so that you're right.
Or
a lot of
drew it on the WWE side.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So basically what went down, I need to watch. WWE title opportunity was up for grabs. Triple threat match. Drew McIntyre beats Randy Orton and Braun Strowman. And so then so for Backlash, Bobby Lashley will face Drew McIntyre. What else happened? Bobby Lashley beat Riddle. The Viking Raiders defeated Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Charlotte cut a promo. She returned.
Flair?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay.
Asuka and Rhea Ripley drawed because Charlotte attacked Asuka and Ripley. Alexa Bliss cut a backstage promo on Alexa's Playground. The Miz and John Morrison beat Damian Priest in a handicap match. The Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beat Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. So then the New Day beat Elias and Jackson Riker. That was it. Wow. That was it.
I'm sure Raw, I'm going to guess Raw's a pretty short, quick show after the big WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah,
They
but there
probably do a
weren't
couple-
that many debuts. There should be a lot of
Oh, I see
debuts.
what you're saying. Okay, why? What's the big deal about the debut? Is that just normally how it works?
Yeah, because it's like the start of the new wrestling season.
It's like, okay, gotcha. I wonder if that's the start of like the new contract year and stuff too. So that's when you first meet the new people. That makes sense. See, man, you're my wrestling guy. You help
like
answer a lot of questions.
Like what I was expecting, probably like Finn Balor returning, possibly Adam Cole debuting. Yeah, like Undisputed Era debuting, Finn Balor returning, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the Io Shirai probably debuting, stuff like that.
Cool. Okay. Well, coming up for the weekend, what do you got? Are you supposed to get snow here the next few days? What's your weather? No? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's supposed to be crappy up here. It's along the Front Range. I don't know if it's going to get that far south. So what's the baseball schedule you got any games this weekend?
Yeah, I have a doubleheader on Sunday.
Okay. Ooh, on Sunday. There you go. Little day baseball. Okay. Good luck. We got a big interview Saturday morning. So we'll have our guest next week. She we'll say it. She is a badass. I think it's
Yeah.
safe. I think it's safe to say that. She would kick our ass.
Yes.
And I think if you and I each got to pick one friend and bring to the fight, she'd beat all 4 of our asses. I think that's a safe bet to say. So I'm
Possibly.
excited about that. It's cool to get, we've never interviewed anybody in this genre of athletics before, so we'll have that next week. So before you do the part that the executive producer wants us to do, we need to remind you one more time, GG's Barbecue and Catering. You need to get down there. Gus's Originals, the Joanna, the Jax, the RX, which I assume is the prescription maybe, and something when I go down there I'm going to try are the redneck nachos.
That does sound.
GG's Barbecue. You need to check them out. They can cater you 15 to 100, 101 to 2,000. If you were looking for an exceptional barbecue experience, 1600 Highway 50 West. Check them out on Facebook. It's GG's Barbecue. All right, Jack, go ahead and get us out of here.
Yeah, they know how to cater, especially if you want blowtorch roasted marshmallows.
Blow torch.
Roasted marshmallows.
What else would you want? Really?
I know. Would taste good. All right, incoming. I'm gonna do the swing. Ready, set, go. And that's it for this week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And be sure to have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks, guys. See you guys on next week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast.